Only a few recordings caught the clear audio of Building 7 when it went down.
Yeah, here's one of the guys who can tell you I'm okay, all right? Here, hold on. You want to call your mother or something? You gotta get back something. Wow, you gotta get back. All right? Don't worry about me. You need to make calls right now. 4-1 should have taken a couple of companies that they were leaving back to us. They were stuck in the tunnel. They might be
No gas, another. Hours after the attack, many smaller explosions rumbled through downtown.
Danny Yawenko is a controlled demolitions expert. Here's what he says about the tower collapse.
Zijn reactie op de beelden die we laten zien is onbevangen.
Zie je vanaf boven gaan? Nee, je gaat vanaf onder.
Die gaat vanaf onder, ja.
Toch?
Ja.
Ze hebben gewoon kolommen weggeblazen. Ze is nagesprongen.
Dit valt anders dan het World Trade Center.
Vind je niet dan?
Ja, je ziet het, de onderste verdiepingen gaan eerst.
Ja, en de rest zakt er gewoon in. Dus dit is controlled demolition.
Zeker weten?
Zeker weten. Er is nagesprongen. Dit is in opdracht gebeurd. Dit heeft een team gedaan van experts.
Maar dit is ook op 11 september gebeurd.
Dezelfde dag?
Dezelfde dag.
Dezelfde dag? Weet je dat zeker?
Ja.
Was het zeker weten de 11e? Dat kan heel waar zijn.
7 uur nadat de World Trade Center naar beneden viel.
Ja? Hebben ze hard gewerkt.
Larry Silverstein, in an interview with PBS, claimed that the fires were unable to be controlled. So they made the decision to pull the building.
I remember getting a call from the fire department commander telling me that they were not sure they were going to be able to contain the fire. And I said, you know, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
Was he referring to the building or the firefighting efforts? Were there any firefighting efforts in Building 7? And who uses this to describe that scenario? CNN aired the footage of police officers saying that they were about to blow up the building and to get back.
Keep your eye on that building. It'll be coming down. The building is about to blow up. Moving back. All right, guys.
We are walking back. There's a building about to blow up. On flame. Debris coming down.
Just in the last few seconds, another building, building number 7, one of the buildings in support of the World Trade Center towers, has collapsed. This is no small building, as you can see, at 47 stories. It would stand out in most American cities.
There was also footage of a foreign military unit on the scene of the World Trade Center.
To rehydrate so they can return to the parched canyon.
Building's going to collapse. Nothing information.
And it's always dangerous.
Building's going to collapse. Nothing information. Building's going to collapse. Nothing information.
No investigation was done into who this person was. Most of the steel at the World Trade Center was melted down and recycled before forensic analysts could determine what had happened in the structure to cause the failure. Why does the official story claim to this day that fires brought down this building? Those who have questioned the collapse are still called names or said to be conspiracy theorists, but many of them are not actually formulating theories, but asking legitimate questions. Many in the movement are saying that the building was blown up by explosives. Who would have wanted Building 7 to be blown up? And how did they get uninterrupted access to the towers to place these explosives? Controlled demolitions take several weeks and sometimes months to set up, especially of a building the size of 47 stories. A computer must help coordinate the structural weight and engineers must collaborate it in advance and wire it in such a way that the building goes down correctly. The bridges in New York were closed off to travelers heading inward, so how did they bring in the explosives that day, if it is assumed that they blew it up on the day of 9/11, and that they placed those explosives the same day? There were upwards of 10,000 estimated people missing. Why would someone make the decision to pull a building 400 yards away from the towers, adding to the dust and toxicity, as well as the cleanup effort? Permits are required for such an undertaking, and how was it kept so secret, especially if no one admits to it? Someone would have needed advanced knowledge of the attacks to undertake this kind of operation, seeing as how the bombs would have been needed to have been placed in advance.
I want to tell you that we are getting word from New York right now that another building has collapsed. I understand that this is a 47-story building. Do we have pictures of it? I guess that's smoke now. Correct me if I'm wrong in the control room, please. But is that smoke coming from this third collapse? Okay, that is what we're understanding, which makes sense because it looks like the sun is going down. But the heavy black smoke once again.
Look at that.
Hopefully at this point that building was empty, but I have no way of knowing that. But I'm hoping that enough people have cleared out of downtown Manhattan so that perhaps it wasn't as full as it might be normally around 5:30 on a Tuesday.
That information, of course, take a look at that right-hand side of the screen.
It's going down right now.
There it is.
Yep.
It went down right there.
The television show, The X-Files, was based around a central theme about a secret group of men who control the world through international entities. The spin-off show of The X-Files was called The Lone Gunman, which was centered around the 3 computer hacker conspiracy theorists who were the primary source of information about the secrets of these big conspiracies and controlling secret societies for the X-Files' lead characters, FBI agents Mulder and Scully.
Hold up. Something's funky here. You're telling us the government is behind this?
You're the government.
If you're anything like your father, I knew you'd want to know.
The pilot episode's story was that a military war game exercise, Scenario 12D, would be the hijacking of a commercial airliner by remote control and flying it into the World Trade Center to justify a global war on terror.
What the hell are you doing? Why can't you stay out of this? Leave me buried.
What is Scenario 12D? We know it's a war game scenario, that it has to do with airline counterterrorism. Why is that important enough to kill for?
Because it's no longer a game.
If some terrorist group wants to act out this scenario, why target you for assassination?
Depends on who your terrorists are.
The men who conceived of it in the first place. You're saying our government plans to commit a terrorist act against a domestic airline?
There you go. Indicting the entire government as usual. It's a faction. A small faction.
For what possible gain?
The Cold War's over, John. But with no clear enemy to stockpile against, the arms market's flat. But bring down a fully loaded 727 into the middle of New York City, and you'll find a dozen tin pot dictators all over the world just clamoring to take responsibility and begging to be smart-bombed.
I can't believe it. This is about increasing arms sales. Why didn't you tell the world this? Go to the press.
You think I'd still be drawing breath 30 minutes after I made that call? The press? Who's going to run this story?
We would.
This? This is birdcage liner. Wild-eyed crap right up there with Elvis as an alien and two-headed babies.
You obviously read it.
Don't be so damn naive.
In the episode, The Continuity of Government, which is a real-life Cold War network which is commonly referred to as the shadow government, would be responsible for executing this operation. The continuity of government was set up after World War II to keep the government running in the case of a nuclear holocaust or attack on Washington. Over the years, each presidential administration has expanded the powers of the continuity of government, whose members are permanent and not elected. through security threats and national events that have been, ironically, carried out by the network itself. For instance,